Good evening and welcome to Norwalk City School District regular board session, August 13th, 2025. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Burkett? Here. Mrs. Crawford?
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Mr. Norris?
Here.
Mr. Ritzenflower?
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? Second? Roll call, please.
We do have one change, just to an effective date. One of our age Jordan Bugler is actually the 25th. Your agenda still says 27th.
Change choice.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenflower?
Yes.
Recognition of retirees.
Yes, tonight we get to recognize 4 retirees that total, if I did the math correctly, 79 years of service to Norwalk City Schools. As you see on your agenda, we're going to start with Beth Osborne. So Beth, you can come down, and then Mrs. Smith and Mr. Moore as well.
You want to start?
It doesn't matter.
You can, go ahead.
You want me to?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I'll do it. I got arm wrestle. How you doing? We love talking about it. Oh my God. Tonight, we gathered to celebrate someone who has made an incredible difference in our schools. I don't want to miss a word about that. Beth, our wonderful librarian who's retiring after years of sharing her love of reading with every student who walked through the door. When I asked my second and third graders what they think about Mrs. Osborne, this is what they said. She's the best. She knows exactly what books I like, and she's the reason I love coming to the library. They also mentioned how she can make a story come alive with her amazing voices and expressions.
You make me cry.
Oh my God, well, good morning up here. Beth has an incredible talent for picking out the perfect book for every student, no matter what kind of stories they like. Some kids love action, some love magic, some love animals, and some like books that are a little bit scary. And Beth knows just what to hand them. She's a book wizard, but without a mind. And it's not just about the books she recommends, it's the way she makes the library a place where everyone feels welcome. The students can find either a quiet corner of a buddy or wherever they like to sit and chill with a friend. She created a space where we live fun, exciting, and most of all, cool, as the kids say. A place kids wanted to be not to be because they had to, but because they couldn't wait to see what new book or adventure was waiting for them. Of course, we can't forget her famous book fairs. Beth worked you worked so hard every year to make them fun for the kids and the family. And that's a lot of work. So appreciated. The best part of the book fair, though, was meeting Beth in the library, chatting about the latest books, and maybe even discovering a new favorite series. Beth, you've been much more than a librarian. You've been a friend, a storyteller, a book matchmaker, and someone who made us laugh and learn at the same time. It's not just the kids who miss you, we all will. The teachers, the staff, and every single person who has joined and walked into your library. And while we are sad to see you go, we know one thing for sure. Your legacy of inspiring a love of reading will live in every student whose heart you touched. We wish you all the happiness in the world as you start this exciting new chapter. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to follow up Mrs. Smith eloquently spoke about Beth in the library. A lot of the times that I remember Beth were the times that she was an individual aid to a lot of our students, to many of our students with special needs. She was somebody who was selected hands down and quite easily and readily, just because of all the character traits that Mrs. Smith so eloquently talked about. And some of those things that you think of as an educational aid or educational assistant we have are just, being strong and positive, building positive relationships with children. How long were you with, was it? The bank. I don't know, right. How many years? I think in 2017 to 18, that's when we got a letter from then Superintendent Fitz saying that you were coming to the library for 17, 18. Prior all to that, you were with her all day and throughout the year, even doing some things in the summer with her. Go ahead.
And it's still that she now has a 1-year-old, so she'll be coming back as a parent.
That is the part of the time in her career that I remember, Beth. And some of those things that for students, you look up what is critical for a parapro or an educational aid for students, not only for teachers, because they have to support both. Increased student engagement and motivation, improved academic outcomes, enhanced social emotional aspects, reduce behavioral issues, in a sense, the last one, a sense of belonging and security and safety. You enveloped all of those traits, all the ones that Janice was speaking about, and all the ones that I've just mentioned here. So you will be very much missed at Pleasant and Mayhorst, and most importantly, in the lives of our students. So congratulations.
Thank you. I love our kids, I love our staff. I love Betty. And I wanted to thank Cindy Hooker. She couldn't be here tonight, but she has come to Pleasant Street twice a week for 3 hours each day. Shoved 800 books a week, washed them all first, and then shoved them. And then Jill and Terry are back there. They would come to Maplehurst when the kindergartners were starting to check out books, and which was a huge help because I would be stuck behind the circulation desk. So thank you. And at the end of the year, these ladies would get the books all in order so that we could start the new year.
So everyone being recognized this evening, you see the number of years if you have an agenda in front of you. So if you're 15 years or more, you get a truck. So a truck that's meaningful. We used to do bells. We said, we're the truckers. We need to switch it to the trucks. So a truck will sit on hopefully someplace in your home, and you'll remember the great years you had in our district, and we definitely appreciate all you have done for the kids, because that's why we're all here. Thank you. Tina Davidson, you're next. And Allison Dowdy and Mrs. Smith, please.
Tina and I just worked together Saturday night and love Norwalk. So we just had a great time. It was. We barely made it back to the best. Okay. Today we have the privilege of honoring someone who is truly the heart of our school. Someone whose name is synonymous with kindness, patience, and unwavering dedication. Tina Davidson has served in our MD classroom for what feels like forever. And I say that in a most positive way, because as far as anyone can remember, she has been a constant source of calm, care, and compassion in our building. She's not just an aide, she's a teacher, a mentor, a counselor, a cheerleader, and a friend not just to the students, but to all of us. Whether you're staff, families, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, maintenance people, custodian, everyone in between, everyone in between. She meets every child where they are, day after day, moment by moment, with a calm spirit, a warm smile, and a heart as big as a job itself. She doesn't wait to be asked.
She does not.
She sees a need and she jumps right in, whether it's helping a colleague or calming an anxious student, or lending a hand wherever it's needed. Her presence brings comfort. Her patience inspires growth, and her care leaves a mark that's impossible to forget. She's generous with her time, she's gifted in her work, and absolutely irreplaceable. You're truly one of a kind. There's a quote that says, "To the world you may be one person, but to one person you may be the world." I believe I can speak for hundreds, maybe even thousands, when I say that I believe that in many of our school community, you are their world. Thank you, Tina, for all these years of service, your commitment, your loyalty, and your love you poured into so many students and staff every single day. You have touched lives in ways that cannot be measured, and we are all better for having known you.
I should have gone first.
You guys do it. You tell your
All right, let's see if I can do this. How could I possibly sum up your service-led career? It's impossible to do, but I'm going to try since I'm here. I'm up here right now. And really, for you, Tina, it comes down to three small words that are so incredibly big. For the kids. We use those words as a beacon in our classroom and our life to remind us what truly matters. And Tina was very much our lighthouse and my lighthouse when it came to being for the kids and making sure we had that prioritized always, because that's what matters. I'm going to try to show you all some small glimpses of our lighthouse in action through some pictures, which, if you know Tina, was not an easy task because she is like a ninja. When the camera comes out, she used to always say, "No record of Tina D." But I've got a couple of them because she is for the kids. So you'll see a few of these pictures. They all show small glimpses of Tina's huge impact and that she always finds a way for the kids. And boy, did you ever. I know you get that from your mom and how proud she would be of you for finding a way for the kids. So here's our first one. You can see Tina. She is helping a student find a way to ride on a scooter. I didn't have a picture of the moment I really wanted to talk about, and that's when I came in the classroom and this same student has trouble physically maneuvering his hands, and they were playing a game with a spinner. And Tina's rummaging through some things. I'm like, what is she doing? All of a sudden, she pulls out a hair dryer, plugs it in, gives it to the student who can now spin the spinner using a hair dryer to do it. Tina Davidson finds a way for the kids, always. This one is one of my favorites. It's a picture, it looks simple. It's a picture of Tina making milkshakes with the students. This happened to be, I believe, March 13th, the day before all this world shut down. And we found out that school was going to close, and we weren't sure if we were going to be back. And Tina said, "Well, I'm bringing my blender. We're going to find a way to make this day memorable." All my students will say, "Happy March 13th." We treated it like a holiday and made milkshakes. Find a way for the kids. This is another good one. It shows Mrs. D on the floor with a student, which she was on the floor constantly, meeting kids where they're at. She's doing a puzzle with this particular student. But what I really wanted to show a picture of is I'm going through my cupboards getting ready for school. I open the top cupboard and there's this huge bin of crayons. This particular student, it helped her to regulate by peeling crayons. And I think it goes to show in every little corner of my classroom, I can find remnants of what you've left for the kids, whether it be a tub of crayons or a new tool to help kids write. You're always finding ways for the kids to meet them where they're at. Find a way, even if it's uncomfortable. When Tina first started with me, she told me she didn't know a lot about communication devices and wasn't sure how they work. But man, you can maneuver a communication device like nobody's business. You still think you can't, but you can. And that just shows who Tina is. It doesn't matter how far in her career she is. If there's something new that's going to benefit the kids, she's going to learn it and find a way to do it for the kids. This one's one of my favorites too. You can see Tina smiling in the background, and it just looks like a student eating. But this particular student only eats maybe like 3 different things, and one of those items is oatmeal that he had never eaten at school before, but was showing signs of being very hungry at school. And Tina found a way. It took time and patience, setting the bowl in front, having him pick out his spoons to make sure this student did not go through his day hungry at school. And you can see her smiling because he finally took a bite. I'm like in the background with the phone. He finally took a bite and we were all celebrating quietly. Find a way for the kids. This is in its rough drafts. It's called the Davidson method. Tina took kids who have never written before and somehow found ways to help them write names and sentences. And I figured out it's because she watched us do directed drawings. And she ran my writing center and thought, well, if we used an anchor as we're writing for a base, then it's going to be easier for kids to write. So this is the prototype of the Davidson method that's helping students learn to write. Yeah. She'll get royalty once we get there. Yeah. This is my favorite story, and I'm not in preschool to tell it, but I'm going to just tell it because it's been told to me many times. Find a way, even if you have to jump a fence for the kids. This particular student, when he was younger, when Mrs. D was in preschool, decided one day he had had enough and he was ready to go home, which don't we all feel that way sometimes? But he just did it. He dove under the fence, and Mrs. D from the other side of the playground at Mayport started running, leapt the fence, got the kid, and got him back to safety. I think he got injured in the process. Didn't you, Elizabeth?
I was already.
Well, still, find a way for the kids, even if you have to jump a fence. And last, just the relationships that you have with the kids are something that cannot be beat. You find a way to reach them educationally always, but you find a way to connect to them in things that I've never seen before. I've learned so much from you. You know, I was a first-year teacher, and Tina came with me. And I don't know how I'm going to do it without you, but we're going to find a way. And she's phenomenal, you guys. She's an educator. She's a teacher through and through. She has the luckiest grandkids in the world who get to learn from her now as a teacher and a grandma. But I just wanted to thank you for always being for the kids. And you can see a few more pictures of just the relationship she had with all of these kids. I mean, she found a way to reach them, to connect with them, to befriend them. This particular student, she got puzzles made for him because if his picture was on the puzzle, he liked doing it and it helped regulate him. But Tina Davidson, there are no words to really describe it. And you're going to be forever missed in our school. We love you so much. Thank you for being for the kids always.
And if you know Tina and the family, clearly she has raised some unbelievable kids. I probably know you more as the mom, you and your husband, having quality kids that have gone through Norwalk City School District. Appreciate that because that tells you what she's about. She's a teacher, she's an educator here. She's doing that entire life. She's doing that with her own family and raising quality kids. So you've impacted so many and we appreciate you being here. It's kind of nice. I was looking at the Tina and TJ and I was going back like, these are 2 all-stars. They're in our Hall of Fame right here at Norwalk High School. So I don't know what's TJ,
Elementary school, we went to elementary school together. High school, we played college ball together. We taught phys ed summer together, and now we're retiring together.
So I'm not sure because I believe Tina declared first. TJ was second, so she saw that, and I don't know if that influenced a little bit that decision-making process, but yeah, 2 all-stars, Hall of Famers as of like class of 2017, I believe, is when you guys were inducted. But yeah, quality people from their days here, and obviously when you remember them, it won't be people, some will, as those stud volleyball players, of which they both were. Both will remember everything that was talked about, especially what Allison covered here. That's what the bulk of the people will remember you as, is that great person and teacher. So, thank you. Tina, is now your opportunity. I gave you 10 minutes there if you want to go. All right, Mrs. Thomas and Mr. Kenya. All right, thank you, Mr. Dooley, for making my first paragraph here. All the Hall of Fame stuff in the class together. I normally don't script these up, but I got some quotes here that I wanted to make sure that I read verbatim as we go into this. So yeah, I've had the pleasure of knowing TJ the last 12 years as a coworker, colleague, and as a friend. She has a personal touch and builds relationships with all those around her. So tonight, it is my honor to recognize the Hall of Famer TJ Thomas for her 22 years of dedicated service to the Norwalk City School District. She has 10 other years prior to here for a total of 32 years in education. Let's give her a round. TJ has always cared deeply for her students. She's shown a genuine interest in their lives, encouraging them to succeed and providing a safe, supportive environment where they could grow. She brought that same positive energy to every role that she embraced, and she embraced lots of roles for us. So I asked a couple of her colleagues if they could come tonight, but I think we conflict with like a Luke Bryan concert or something like that. So once you're retired, TJ, next year I want you to be there with them. So we're going to start first with Grace Hutchinson. They sent me some nice things here. So Grace was her volleyball coach and longtime colleague. She first knew TJ as a student and a member of the Ladies in Blue. Even then, TJ was a fierce competitor, a total team player, and a strong emotional leader, successful both on the court and in the classroom. Decades later, that same determination transformed into fierce advocacy for her students. In her classroom, students learn more than just the subject matter. They learn their worth, how to accept themselves and others, and how to navigate life. From Grace. From Wes Douglas, he even wrote some things. Wes Douglas, our longtime PE teacher, described TJ as someone with authentic compassion for the well-being of all students and staff members. He wanted me to mention of all of her accomplishments as an All-Ohio volleyball player for the Ladies in Blue and the many big shoes she leaves to fill in the countless roles she plays here at NHS. It reminds me how many times he told you need to do less around here. And then I'm going to leave you with one more Grace quote in her lines. And I don't know where she got this, but this is incredible. She says, there are good teachers, there are great teachers, and then there are legends. Legends leave an imprint that lasts far beyond the classroom. TJ is one of those legends. She entered her students' lives, challenged them, supported them, and helped shape their futures. From Grace. I want to tell you, join your colleagues next year. Enjoy retirement. After 32 years, you definitely deserve it. You are one of Norwalk's own, so TJ, you will be sorely missed. And always remember, not for the work you did, but for the difference you made. So thank you, TJ, and good luck in retirement. Sandy?
It's been an honor and a privilege. Really, my students have taught me more than I could ever imagine, truly. I'm taking so much from them that they've taught. And just being a small part of their lives has made such a difference in mine. I have so many stories that I'll always remember, and I feel grateful to have been able to come back here and teach after, being born and raised here. So I'm going to miss everybody. This has been a really hard decision, but it's time. So I'm sure I'll still be around and maybe substitute. You never know sometime.
Maybe bus driving. Maybe the kitchen.
I don't know, bus driving. People do it a lot. Maybe driver's ed.
It's on the agenda for that. That's what happens to be on the agenda. So, okay, we locked it out for 2 potential.
Yeah. So thank you for, if I ever taught any of your children, thank you for giving me that privilege and that honor to be their teacher. I will miss it terribly, so thank you very much.
When you look at her entire family is here. Wave, girls, Norwalk Trucker graduates, your brother, like, that says a lot. So like Tina, thank you for going through the district. You have meant a lot to the kids. We think you were never a school counselor, but there were opportunities, there were times that we knew kids that said, who do you need to talk to? Sometimes that teacher is an outlet for somebody, and TJ was an outlet for a lot of kids. Because we have to find that match of who can have those conversations. You don't cross the line of here's personal, but sometimes like there is information that's like, I'm comfortable talking to Mrs. Thomas. And if you know her, you're comfortable because I've done that myself. Personal situations I've shared with her, stuff she shared with me that might be because we're working together or because we're friends. But that happens quite a bit. And I had a great time many years, and I love the fact we hired her back because you knew she was a Norwalk trucker. She had experience elsewhere, but she had that fire and passion to come back and work here where she had graduated from. We even had some fun trips together. We went to Nashville together. So high schools at work, we were in the same trying to find out like where are we supposed to go. Because if you've ever been to like Gaylord Opryland, it takes like 4 days to figure out like how to navigate the jungle and where I get to my room and how do I get there. So like, yeah, we got pretty good together at that. So yeah, we definitely had some good trips along the way. Do you remember that? No. Not memorable for her.
No.
I remember it.
No, I have to tell you what.
Wait.
I have not performed a lot in my life, so I didn't know the protocols of like what you're allowed to bring on.
Oh, I know where this is going.
On the airplane. So I had all like these little personal lotions and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, and Mrs. Lorcha Fran, they're like, you're gonna get stopped. They're gonna tell you you can't bring that stuff. I'm like, well, I that's my stuff. And
She had too many bags. So basically, I grabbed a bag and played off like it's mine. I clearly, like, we didn't pay enough. She paid. She took too much stuff. I will grab your bag. Okay, continue.
So Fran Lorcher and I are like, where is Brad? Where it's taking him so long. Fran's like, I don't fly a lot. She's like, let's walk down here. He got stuck. He got like flagged, and they opened his stuff, and the guy was like, "Sir, why do you have all these like female parts?"
And I'll tell you, there was more than just like lotion bottles. There might be some apparel in there too. So I either say, yes, it's mine, or no, I'm taking someone else's bag. I think I might know who it belongs to, but then I'm trapped. Like, I usually think I do and know how to respond. I really don't respond. You make a decision like, no, it's not mine. I'm trying to get it to somebody else, or like, send it back. I don't want it. But yeah.
So we threw it all away. We did that. I'll remember that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Mrs. King and Mrs. Stillman.
My hands.
Okay, I will be short and sweet so that I don't start bawling. 10 years ago, when I first interviewed with Jennifer, I immediately knew she was someone I was going to get along with. I can't even continue. What I didn't anticipate was the mentor and friend I would find in her. Jennifer's mission has always been to do what's best for kids. Who she was at work is exactly who she is as a person. compassionate, dedicated, reflective, nurturing, and a crier. I had to get in there and use right. She is the reason Norwalk City Schools has earned a reputation for having top-notch special education services. Jennifer has been responsible for hiring the most talented teachers and therapists our community could ask for. The programs and practices she built here will continue to impact the lives of hundreds of children and families for years to come. Knowing Jennifer and having the honor to work with her has changed my life tremendously. I know stepping into her job, I have huge shoes to fill. I'll never truly fill them, but I will do my best to carry her legacy forward. We will miss you is simply not enough. Thank you for everything you've done for Norwalk Schools.
I think a few of us other administrators who have worked with Jennifer for a while wanted to speak about her a little as well. So, we get into education to make connections that allow us to get through to students and impact their lives for the better. It isn't easy to build relationships when you're spread as thin as Jennifer's job required her to be. It's not easy to build relationships with students that you aren't seeing every day, or in Jennifer's case, every week, or even every month. Having said that, Jennifer is a master at relationship building. I've seen high school students who in many cases don't want to listen to anyone in the room sit up and listen when Mrs. King speaks. It's because they know how much she cares about them and about their future. I think the biggest compliment I can pay Jennifer is that she commands respect through kindness. With students, teachers, and our administrative team, she commands respect through kindness. Jennifer, I appreciate your friendship, your mentorship, your guidance. You deserve this retirement.
We have the honor of celebrating the retirement of someone who has been a pillar of strength, guidance, and unwavering commitment in our school community. Jennifer King. For years, Jennifer has been the heartbeat of everything we do in supporting our students and families, especially those with special needs. Her passion for children and her dedication to ensuring that they have every opportunity to succeed has been nothing short of extraordinary. She has been the calm in the storm for so many families, the voice of compassion and reason, and an advocate for our students needing to navigate the complexities of the education system. But what truly sets Jennifer apart isn't just her expertise or her commitment. It's the way she made everybody feel valued. Whether it was a parent with questions, a colleague looking for guidance, or a student in need of someone to believe in them, Jennifer was always there, be ready to listen, to help, and to support. She made a difference, not just because of her knowledge, but because of her heart. She truly saw people, and that's a gift not everybody has. On a personal note, I can tell you that I am beyond grateful for the countless times she has been there for me, offering her wisdom, her insight, and most importantly, her friendship. She's been a sounding board, a problem solver, and a true partner in every sense of the word. To say I will miss her is an understatement. One of the things I will miss most about Jennifer is the way she lights up a room when she walks in. There's an energy she brings with her. It's a warmth, it's authentic, that makes everyone feel like everything's gonna be okay. And in her most humble way, she doesn't even realize this incredible gift that she's making people feel safe, cared for, and supported. Jennifer, you have touched so many lives. Students, families, all of these people, you have left a legacy that will continue to inspire long after your retirement. We are all better for having worked alongside you. And as you enter the new chapter of your life, know that you leave behind a district and a community that will be forever grateful for your tireless dedication, your incredible heart. I wish you nothing but joy and fulfillment in the years ahead. And remember, you will always have a here. Thank you for everything, Jennifer. To say I miss you
taught fifth grade for 11 years. I have no idea. And he goes, well, no, Rosalie and Jennifer will be. Okay, I'll go, no problem. They're going to be there and make sure things are going that well. And how you have taken on, as Rosita has said, and everybody has spoken to, your wings so far up in what you have. That part is going to be missed immensely. It's a joyful occasion. This is, but it's also a valley that we have to fill. Keep us doing an excellent job in filling those shoes. But I tell you, it's going to take some time. And all of the places that you have been throughout our district. And a lot of people don't realize how far our kids go outside of our district that we serve. And you have to be the one that is there making sure they are educated and proper techniques and services are ensured. So thank you for that. And those things go unheard of, unnoticed. Okay. And the other part is when you were in the conference room, that was your office. When I first started at New York, times I get ready to leave later in the afternoon. I would get text from my wife, and then I'd see Jennifer's light would still be on, and I'd pop down and talk to her, and it would be 45 minutes later. Just engaging discussions about learning and about how kids learn. And I'm doing that as well. So, congratulations to you with that. So, and
I guess I'll say one quick thing here, because everybody covered all your great traits. I'm not going to duplicate, but Jennifer had fun. Like, we could have had the toughest things that were going on, and she made light of it. Like, I never forget, like, no matter what we're facing, we could always laugh when it was done. She could have that attitude, and we could leave with a great thing. I remember I told you, like, fairness brings misery, and Jennifer had one of the toughest jobs. Like, we look at fairness, you know, she was in meetings and that stuff all the time, and it never made her miserable. She never, you know, she followed those rules. Like, that was kind of the guy for that. And to say that I'm never down on what this is, we're making the best of it, and we can bring everyone out. We're going to miss our times at Bell Mills. We're going to miss, like, being randomly in Marion at a revise competition. There's Jennifer, like, popping in there to support the kids all over and all of those various things. We're going to miss you dearly. Enjoy Alabama. Alabama game to go.
So we can't look at each other right now. So I'm speaking today not as a board member, but as a parent whose child's life and mine were changed quite literally by Jennifer King. When you have a child with unique learning needs, you live with a constant blend of hope and fear. Hope that someone will see your child for who they truly are, capable, bright, and kind, and fear that others might see limitations. I first met Mrs. King approximately 12 years ago. My husband and I were young parents and feeling very vulnerable and overwhelmed. Our first child had just repeated kindergarten and was undergoing evaluation for an IEP. As a mother, I was overwhelmed with feelings of guilt and concern, fearing that I had somehow failed my child. From the first meeting, I knew Mrs. King truly cared about us. She spoke about my child with such understanding, compassion, and intention. She didn't just talk about accommodations or goals we wanted to meet. She cared and reassured us as parents when we needed it the most. It's easy to list job titles: Director of People Services, Administrator, Advocate, but what Mrs. King truly was is a lifeline, a bridge between struggle and support, a voice for families who didn't always know how to speak the language of IEPs, but knew in their hearts what their child needed. Thanks to her and the amazing team of intervention specialists and our devoted educators, my child was able to be successful and happy throughout his K-12 career. I was able to hand him his diploma. My graduation this past May. We did it. He found confidence and success, and I'm forever grateful for that. Mrs. King, I want you to know that your legacy is not in paperwork or policies. It's in the way that you helped children walk into school with their head held high. It is every child who felt seen and cared for, and it's in every parent who could breathe a little easier because they knew someone like you had them in their corner. From the bottom of my heart and on behalf of every parent you walked alongside with, thank you. Enjoy the next chapter. change the world one child at a time. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Jennifer, real quick, all the years that we worked together, I can think of very few people, a handful of people that I can think of in my life that, in meeting with you in school, business, or, outside of that I walked away feeling good. To sum it all up, you were a shining example of all that is good in this world.
Jennifer is the consummate professional. I take a poster of her because she is everything you want. Talk about honesty and trust. We can talk to each other. If it needs to stay in the room, it will stay in the room because you know that. So we have some pretty deep conversations. I think about a year ago, my mom, who's 82 years old now, loves sports. Grandkids are through, not seeing sports locally. I said, drive to my house, hour and a half away, come here. We'll go to a volleyball game, actually. It was at Willard for a tournament game. Let's go. So I had some business that you remember that call? So I said, well, don't say anything crazy. She ever does. I said, my mom's here, and, I'm in the truck, so we're hearing everything that's said. So she's walking through, we're talking out situations, scenarios, kids that we're working through, and my mom gets up like, that is one tough cookie. And get up every morning knowing that it's not always fun things you do every day, but ultimately those things that aren't fun have a good outcome or result for families and kids. So while you're in the fight and the struggle of difficult situations, yeah, it's tough. But that's still my mom's she is a tough cookie. And I think I told you that afterward to say she's waking up every day knowing that there's things in front of you that aren't easy walks, aren't easy steps, aren't easy solutions. In her farewell email to all of us, and I believe to the board, she had mentioned she drove 40 minutes plus one way to come to Norwalk. So when I met her and she began here, I'm saying, she's not going to be here long. It'll be a short ride here because every school from Port Clinton to Norwalk and everybody toward Toledo and Cleveland would have loved to have picked her up, would have loved to have hired her. So Jennifer's going to be leaving sometime soon. And that never happened personally for us. It never happened. And that's what tells you. She talks about Wayne Mack and Mike Gordon being hired by them and them showing the passion about what it is to be in this community, this school district, how valuable that is, and what that means as a team here. So she bought in, and then we look 19 years later, she is completely bought in. So absolutely love this lady. We will miss her. I did my best to keep her here. I offered all kinds of other things like TJ, what else can we do to extend your life here? But it is time. Her and her husband are great people. You want to introduce your guest here as well, and then I'll give you the floor, Jennifer.
Yeah, my husband, Thad, who I couldn't have done this without him. Every night going home, he was so understanding if I had a tough day or a tough situation or a kid that I couldn't solve the problem for, which was always the hardest. And he'd say, tell me about your day. And there were days where I couldn't talk about it again. And I'd say, I can't go through it. And he was always so understanding and for all the love, support, never complained about my hours. I put in lots of hours. And he never, ever questioned, never complained. Friday nights we'd have plans and inevitably Mr. Cooley at 4:30 called me down to his office. If it was late, I always called him when I got in the car to drive back to Clinton. And if it was a Friday and it was late, he'd always say, Brad? I'd say yes, because inevitably on Friday afternoons. But I don't regret 1 minute of it. This has been my second home. just to have you all here is so humbling, because I have loved every minute of being here. And all of you, I'm looking and I wish I could name every one of you, because every one of you has played such a special role, and I couldn't have done it without any of you. And, you know, in particular, my department, I have to say that. Jeanette, Sean, Rativa, Paul, I see Paul in here, but everybody, like this team, this special education team in Norwalk, is just the most incredible team. And I couldn't be prouder. Yeah, I didn't live here, but I have a trucker heart. And I love each and every one of you and all that you have taught me and have given me, parents, board, staff. It has been the most incredible 19 years of my life. And I am grateful to Norwalk City Schools for all of it. Thank you.
So she always played when we talked that she was a late night person. So don't think I was doing things like we had that relationship. We're like, she knows I'm not a morning person, so we do business at night. Now, apparently, sorry.
I thanked my husband, my brother and sister-in-law, huge parts of my life, drove up from Columbus with us today. So we're down or over. And I wish that my son were here, but he's hiking glaciers in Alaska right now. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Oh, gosh. I still remember that day. I do too. In this class. Yeah. Thank you. Oh. Thank you.
So I'm hoping that the Buckeye is strong enough that we stay Buckeyes and we don't ever start thinking Roll Tide ever. You can live there, but don't start leaving that direction, please.
Thank you, everybody.
79 years of service. Thanks very much. Impressive for all of you.
I know, every time. I don't know how we continue board meetings after these things. All right, public participation. Each person who wishes to address the board will be asked to give his or her name and address. Remarks should be limited to 3 minutes in length. If after everyone who wishes to do so has an opportunity to speak, additional comments can be made up to a total allotted time of 30 minutes. All right, treasurer report.
Okay.
Short recess. Treasurer report. Yeah, I feel like we'll take a 5-minute recess and then we'll continue with the fun stuff.
Everybody.
Yes.
Recess.
Thank you.
All right, back from our recess, treasurer reports.
Okay, we are ready for the treasurer reports. We have two sets of minutes to approve. We have the regular session from July 9th and the special session from July 16th. We then have two sets of financial reports to approve too. We have the June 2025 and the July 2025 financial reports. July, of course, started our fiscal year 26. Some items to know, we opened two new CDs at Savista, that is, of course, our local bank. They were having a CD special, 4.29 for 3 months and 4.15 for 6 months. Also, we have a new one at the First Bank of the Lake. Got with Brad at that one since he's on the lake. 4.05, it's a bit longer at 14 months long. Our interest for July was $126,666.15 in total. Of course, project interest was just over $91,000. We received our first drawdown from the OFCC for the building project on July 11th. It was for $1,080,801. It's in the 0010-9001 fund, which I made sure we printed off your financial report. So if you look in here, you'll see on the list of, it's called the cash summary report. You can see these different funds pretty much towards the back. So July, it earned, just in that short time, because it didn't even come till the 11th, it earned $2,023.88 in interest. That is in a separate fund, the 0109002, called the OFCC State Share Interest Fund. The district's local share is split between the required local share and the 0019005 fund. It has $17,988,271. The interest for that also goes into a separate 010 fund, the 9006. It's called the Local Share Interest Fund. It now has $111,861.12. For those two funds, we have to keep the interest accounting separate. That's something that if we need it down the road, the OFCC keeps track of that. Well, I keep track with the OFCC of that, and that's something they will make us spend along with their share of interest. The LFO money, which is the locally funded outside initiatives, that was the $27,418,980.30. That is in the 004-9004 fund. And then we have what's called the PALIP, the Project Agreement Locally Funded Initiative. That is what was required by the projects. It is $2,470,448.52. The 010 funds have separate interest, but the 004 doesn't. So you'll see the interest gets receipted directly into them. There's also money in the bond fund, the 002 fund, which is from the original sale set aside when they sold the bonds for a higher rate than expected. They set a little bit of money aside to make our first debt service payment. We also have our tax advances in the 002 fund going forward to make that. So the OFCC figures the drawdown amounts based on the expected spend for the quarter. So we're going to have a draw every quarter, and they look at that and come up with the amount that they think we're going to need. I was a bit concerned in the beginning that there wouldn't be enough on their side and we would use our money to make the payments, but they assured me that they, at least the people in the drawdown department, are generous with what they think that we'll need to expend, so that we're not going to have a shortage on their end going forward, because we only have a quarterly draw. It's not like a monthly one. So that's where we stand with all of the OFCC money. We're almost past our purchase interest on the meter account. That'll be done in 2 months, and then we'll just see the regular interest going forward, which I think I'm gonna like the look of that better. I do have a investment meeting with Meter coming up, so we're gonna look at things, because the same thing, along with the OFCC drawdown, we have to look at when we need to start pulling some of our money from our investments to be able to pay as the project gets going. Along with our financials, our school district income tax arrived the end of July. It's for the April, May, and June 2025 quarter. It was $96,148 less than last year's same quarter. So that's a worry. The budget bill eliminated school district income tax on the states. Not that that's that much money, but it's just kind of one of those things. There's so many little details we're finding out that are in the budget bill. That was one of them. It is broke down on the accounting that we received from the state in the individual amounts of payroll withholdings. And it was the individual amount that was less, not the payroll withholdings. The payroll withholdings were actually slightly above last year by like $1,000. So the rest of it was the individuals that don't, for whatever reason, have it withheld. They make their April 15th payment, and then they make estimated payments along the way. So that's something to look at, but it is good that it wasn't at least on the payroll withholding side. That's what we have for financials. The next part we have is our school bus bid. You approved this. We do need a wheelchair-enabled bus. It's a little bit smaller because we need room for the lift on here, so it's a 54 passenger. We had 2 companies bid on it, Cardinal Bus Sales and Myers Bus. 154,096 was Cardinal Bus Sales bid. It was 149,000 for Myers, but unfortunately Myers doesn't offer a transit bus, which is the bus with the flat fronts. They only offer the conventional buses where the nose kind of comes out. And that doesn't actually, we had asked for a transit because that's what our entire fleet is. And with being a lot of our in-town driving, it's a little bit harder to drive the conventional type buses and get around the tight corners and that. So we really wanted to have a transit. Myers didn't offer that, but they still bid on it, just in case. So it's not actually the low bid that we're accepting, but it's the bid that's what we actually asked for. So, unfortunately, there is no state money that goes towards the buses. We did at least, they used to fund it, I think, all the way up until like 2009. There'd be a little bit of funding for buses, but that has gone away. And as you can see, I mean, it's $154,000.
Didn't you have a grant from last year?
We did. One year there was a 2-year grant. You were allowed to buy, and they applied your state share to it. So I think we received like $54,000 towards a bus. 2 buses we were able to buy. So, but that was, I think, 4 years ago. There's a safety grant so that we're going to be able to make sure that we have some more safety stuff.
First
Yeah,
year on.
yeah.
But not any actual school bus grant. In fact, I think we're going to use some of the safety money out of the school bus grant for the older buses. There's a new flashing thing that goes on the top of the bus that's bright red that shows up really nice. So Anthony is working on retrofitting the buses with that. Of course, the new buses will just come with it.
So it's like a fire department flashers or?
No, it's just kind of like a bright red.
It illuminates the
Yeah.
front of the bus where it's a school bus, it'll illuminate that.
It's
The
really, yeah,
alarm and
it's-
everything, so you'll be able to
So-
see it.
People will pay a little bit more attention.
We hope they'll pay attention, yes, because that's always an issue is the passing.
Yeah, right.
So, so that's it for the school bus. We would like to do the actual, really it was the only bid that we got because Myers wasn't conforming. Oh, they are saying that they're looking to build transit buses, so maybe in the future.
Is a wheelchair bus more than a regular?
Oh, yes.
It's got the hydraulic lift.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a lift off the side that has to come down, and then they take out some of the seats, so you can't have as many kids that aren't in wheelchairs. And then there's the different, attachment areas that have to be bolted through the floor to attach the wheelchair to the bus. So
On a regular bus, how much less ballpark figure would it be?
probably about, well, they've probably gone up, maybe $20,000.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely more for a wheelchair bus.
How many passengers do we
This one's a
usually get?
54 passenger.
And,
That includes the driver and however many wheelchairs.
okay, a regular bus, how many passengers do we use?
84.
84. That's what we try to get, 84.
Yeah, we try to, yes, as big as possible.
Okay.
Which of course means they don't fit in our bus garage either. That's why you see the buses sitting out because they literally do not fit. The 78 passenger buses, they've taken the block out of the back of the wall, they've carved out the block so that the mirrors can go in so that they could park those buses in there. But the 84, 83, 84 passengers won't even fit in there now, so they're outside. Which, isn't really good for, it wears on everything. You have the sunlight on your tires, it wears your tires out faster.
Just sitting there all summer.
Yeah, so, but in the future,
Yes.
it would be nice to have a bus garage. Our buses would last longer. It would be better all the way
Bus
around.
garage to hold all the buses.
Right, nothing fancy, just a nice little
Yeah.
area that fits the buses, So-
Solar panels over top.
Oh, yes,
of it.
I'm not, yeah. Mhm. I think that's-
Trees around the solar panel, flowers, choice.
Probably a good idea. Yeah.
I think so. Then we have auxiliary disposal, North Catholic schools, they receive state auxiliary funds and they use that for, to buy textbooks and to pay for some of their staff. And so when they dispose of it, they have to send a request to us, so you'll see that there. Substitute rates for the 25-26 school year, we upped our teacher pay it's broken into three. Just our regular sub teachers when they start, that went up $5, so it went up to 115 per day. 120 if it's like hopefully TJ will come back and sub for us. So if it's a retired teacher, when they come back right away, just as a perk, an extra $5. And also if a sub that isn't a retired teacher works 40 days or more, then they go up to the 120, just the same thing, to keep them subbing in our district. Because once they know the kids, it's always better than somebody who doesn't. And then we have a long-term teacher subs per day. This is when, like, if they're covering a maternity leave or something like that, where they know that they're going to be in the classroom for extended period of time, and then they have to do the lesson plans and all of that, the extra for that. So that's $130. Classified subs are paid on an hourly rate. All of classified subs are paid the same hourly rate, except for the bus drivers. They're paid a little bit more. So that went up to the $14.25, and then the bus driver for the trips went up to $16.75 and $19.75 for the routes, because it is much harder to drive a route and take students home while you're trying to figure out where the student goes at the same time who the student is, and instead of just, taking the phone.
These rates right here, how do they compare with the other Huron County schools?
They're a little bit above, but not very much.
We used to be below.
Yeah, in Huron County, so like Sandusky probably pays more, Fremont, city schools pay more than some of the smaller schools. Some of the smaller ones, I think South Central started paying a lot more just because they can't get people to come there because they're so far away. So, but it's pretty much in line with everything.
Which is helpful.
Yeah.
Helpful enough.
Yeah. We want to keep it competitive, but we also don't want to get basically into it anymore.
Right.
So.
I like that we're a little bit more competitive than what we were.
Yeah.
And it's,
And we really need to look at, each year upping a little bit. I think they're way back, we went many years without ever changing what the sub pay was, so we need to look at it.
I think it was one of our first years this time that we actually upped it to where it was, to be a little bit competitive, and then now it's.
Right. So next we have our driver's education training. This is something Mr. Kenya requested. We need some more driver's ed on-road instructors. So the new budget bill requires anyone under the age of 21 to have driver's education. So it's going to be even more important for our students to get their driver's ed training, and doing it through the school. Of course, there's no cost to them. It's the whole driver's ed is 50 hours of practice driving with an eligible adult, and they have to have a full-time driver education course, which has 24 hours of classroom education, 8 hours behind the wheel, and then 50 hours with, an eligible adult. Somebody that has a driver's license. This was put into the budget bill. Governor DeWine put it in there. He also put a driver training in schools program, which was going to distribute grants to schools to provide the driver's education. Unfortunately, the legislature, when it was in the process of going through, took that back out. They left the language that said you had to have it if you're under 21, but they took the money out for school districts. So right now, the only grant is ESCs can apply for a scholarship amount to give students money, so students can take that money and go to an approved school somewhere and take. But there's no.
Are they an approved school?
We would be able to don't charge.
Yes, we would not.
We would
Yeah,
have to be
that.
charging the student to take the class. So it's kind of a,
You'd have to partner with another.
Yeah.
we would be an approved school if we were
Charge.
charging them, but we're not charging, and it's kind of like, what if we charge and then the kid doesn't get it?
Yeah.
And
And with that, can I add something there, Joyce? The driver's ed, the classroom part is, we're covered with that for now. We have partnered with Yehovah on that. It's the behind the wheel time. Because all the kids are taking the class during the school day. It just, there's so much time that's needed for that we have a backlog.
8 hours.
And I know that, to make parents and make kids, wait and to get it behind the wheel, it gets tough. And for this coming year, the classes are both full of kids, so we expect it to be every year. So we have to have some more people that can pick up some of that driving time.
So basically, you just need somebody that's over the age of 21 to sit in the car and ensure the person's driving correctly, right?
well, the 50 hours of an eligible adult would be that, but the training that they need from us, the driver's education training, we'll have a job description later you'll approve, and you'll see that's a little bit more intense because they have to follow their curriculum and,
Right, for the classroom portion of it.
no, even when they're driving a vehicle.
Oh,
They have a checklist of all the things that they have to, you know, with each driver's ed, you get behind the wheel.
Yeah.
They have to keep, you know, records of, you know, the training, so there's a lot to it. So, you know, this, 52 hours of training is pretty intense.
Right, because the child has to do the 50 hours with an adult, but they have to have 8 hours with this driver instructor who has to do certain things and make sure they're driving correctly. You know, if you drive with mom and dad, really, I mean, they're not, other than, make sure you stop, they're not gonna give you all those little.
Right.
And so, hopefully there will be money later, maybe for this. Part of it, what Governor DeWine is he was gonna fund it with money from the marijuana tax. And that's part of why it came out, the funding, because the legislatures are kind of holding on to that marijuana tax money right now. It was supposed to, by the, whatever initiated the statute that passed it, it was supposed to like go out to host cities. And they were supposed to use for substance addiction and all that, and none of that is happening because they're having whatever is a state house. They're just holding on to the money. So maybe down the road, there will be some sort of funding for it, because I think they're realizing how important it is. There's actually a credential that students can earn for having received their driver's license, so. Okay, so we're hoping, my goal was to do it for $15 an hour, which is what we pay for our school bus drivers to receive training also, so it's on par with that. And the same language that we had with when we train a school bus driver is they do need to commit to driving for us for at least a year, and if not, reimburse us for the cost of the training. Because this will be a skill once these people have earned this licensure or credential to be able to be a driving instructor. So we do want to make sure once we invest in them that they stay with us. Next, we have our then and now approval. This was Mr. Kraft missed a few hoops in his doing his purchase orders, and he did not get his purchase order in for his mileage for the previous year until 2016, and at that time it was over the amount that was late. So by revised code 5705.41D, I need the Board of Education to approve the payment to him. So that's why it's on there. And then next, our adult lunch and breakfast. We're gonna have the same a la carte prices, but lunch and breakfast for adults is going up by a little bit. I think breakfast went up 75 cents and lunch went up. I think that was also 75 cents. A la carte items are the same. Of course, remember that none of our students will be paying for lunch or breakfast. They'll still be on the community eligibility provision, so they won't be paying for anything. This is just for our adult lunches and breakfast.
If kids want more, then they have to pay.
Yes, right, so they get a reimbursable meal at no cost, but if they want to buy something extra, like if they want an extra milk, or if they want more veggies, they
That's
do
usually
have
what they
to
pay, yeah.
pay for that, or, right. Next, the OSBA conference, Capital Conference, I do need somebody to be a delegate and an alternate. I need to send that to the OSBA. Kayla is our legislative liaison. So I didn't know if you also wanted to do that. Last year, you were the delegate and Eric was the alternate. Oh, that's right, you can't go.
Yeah. I probably could go.
I think we're gonna try and all go this year, right?
We actually moved the board meeting.
Yeah.
We moved the board meeting so we can potentially,
Yeah,
like, send the team.
things have changed for my availability at that time frame. I'll probably be available in June.
I don't mind, we have a delegate. I don't know who else could do the alternate, but I'll be fine.
Okay. I am writing you in. Mrs. Crawford, delegate, Mr. Gonzalez, alternate. Okay. And there will be an online policy briefing by OSBA Wednesday, October 29th. Finally, we have donations. Vacation Land Federal Credit Union donated $3,500 for the Reading Under the Lights program. They also donated, I didn't add it on here, but they also donated little courtesy packs for our employees when they go to their staff wellness. It was a nice insulated bag and had lots of little treats for the employees, so that was really nice. North Eagles donated $5,800. They would like $4,800 of it to go to the 4th grade leadership program and $1,000 to go to the elementary music program. And then finally, Mark Schaefer Farms donated their services in the amount of $4,194 to mow the land across the street where our new elementary building will be going up. So you'll see that.
Does look a lot
After
better.
their days.
Over
Yeah.
there.
Looks
That
real
took 2
nice.
days.
That was really nice of them because it was looking real
He
nice.
started on Friday and he's done 2, if not 3 passes.
I watched him,
Very good.
I was mowing over here at Calvary and I saw him come driving down. I'm like, oh, that's why I texted you.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, I came over here for football practice and he was still mowing and this was at 5 o'clock. And I was like, and he wasn't even halfway done.
Right. It was not something you could go
No.
with speed and
Yeah.
get through. even with
Definitely
his
wasn't doing it with
equipment.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice.
So that should handle at least through the year, then we'll see based on, when we get blades out there, that won't be a non-issue. So this may have to happen one more time, but
Are
we'll
we
see.
having it sprayed? Like,
That's not in the plan now.
No.
That's,
Yeah.
Joyce said that.
Cut it down, it will be just fine.
so. I made a mistake
Put it on
of
the farm.
walking that property Friday, so after we had our work with Garmin Miller that day, so I parked at the senior center late Friday night and I walked that backfield. Like the next day, I couldn't breathe because like, it's not the smartest thing, cut weeds down the walking field and that, like,
goldenrod and everything else.
not the smartest move, but, yeah, it does look so much better, and, Surveyor wanted it down to do their work. Garmin Miller will be in there the end of August to start their surveying. So all the kind of those next steps. So that was critical that Mark Schaefer got in there when he did. So he was our first call, and he willingly said, "Yep, I would do that." So very appreciative of Mark for doing
Definitely
that.
was not a small task. I know that for a fact.
And that's all I have for you this month.
Thanks, Joyce. Is there a motion to approve items 4.1 through 4.10 under treasurer reports? Second,
Second.
any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenfeller?
Yes.
Personnel.
Little praise here for Mr. Ballman, working with principals to get our educational assistants in order. So we're in good shape. You have a lot of people that are in district that had to be moved to different positions as people have retired, vacated, whatever it be. So I think we've landed like the right people in the right jobs. And this is our newest list of those under educational assistants and library aid. So Ryan Hunt, educational assistant, Candy Pelton, Cassandra Pelton, educational assistant, Allison Graham, educational assistant, Jane Teagues, van driver, Shannon Logan, transportation assistant, Jordan Ludwig, who is sister to the Joey, who we just hired. So I'm excited to have her as an educational assistant, and then Terry Snyder, part-time library aide. So that is a good group, and the principals, Mr. Ballman, are impressed with that. So we have good people working with our kids in those various roles. School psychologist, we actually had Paul Hism. He was here tonight, so seated next to Rativa. He was a school psych for us. He was in the pupil service director position. So he's been the psych position. He was in the Jennifer King role, and he is committed to our district. And at his point, he is saying, I'm willing to come back and fulfill some of those psych services. As you know, I'm looking at you now that we tried, they're not existing. And he knows like it's a stopgap measure, but he committed to us for a year. So there are certain things that only psychologists can do when it comes to evaluations, and you can't hand that task off to teachers or someone else. Like that's the only thing that psychs can do. So he's going to be in that role, and as Rativa and Jenica figure out their new positions, he'll fit in and handle that business. So we're very excited that Paul is willing to assist because he is still very active with the Red Cross and doing mission work for them. 5.3, just formalizing the fact that Rativa Stillman is in her new position. She's no longer considered on the teacher contract. She's part of the administrative handbook. So that's the recognition of that. Standard fare for a new employee in that position for a 2-year contract. She is step 0 for that role. 5.4 is stipend for Brian Stitak to help with the band camp. And his role as a clinician in that part, and obviously donation by the Norwalk Music Boosters. He's an impressive person. You've seen him on stage. Anytime you can get him with kids and doing any work, yeah, we are getting our money's worth with Brian Stitak for sure. 5.5 is recognition. We held our meeting here in July. There was no comments on that meeting date, so We have 2 teachers in Gary Swartz and Stephanie Underwood. They're both in the same position. So as a retiree hire, they're going to be at master's step 10 with a 1-year contract expiring at the end of the 25-26 school year. 5.6 is a step correction for Byron Crockett as a bus driver. Step 4 to step 5. Understand, Joyce, this is due to the language change in the new contract, recognition of service that can be given. So that is for Mr. Crockett. Resignations, 5.7, TJ Thomas as a teacher, Bill Barber, maintenance, Kim Cunningham as a cook, and Andrea Butts as an educational assistant. 5.8, we have a list there of certified and classified staff, several with pending verification, to add to our totals in those 2 areas. Supplemental contracts for Main Street, Allison Schnell, 5th and 6th grade academic challenge, Abby Bullion, 5th and 6th grade academic challenge as well, the 2 positions. Lori Wilkin, Main Street Robotics, and Rhonda Ray Snyder, yearbook advisor. At Norwalk Middle School, we have Maria Goodsight, will cover robotics. Volunteers, so we had Tina Davidson, her son, Matt Davidson, middle school football. These are volunteers, Hope Lawyer and Evan Hoffman. 5.11, we have a stipend for our new teacher orientation, which appreciative of Mrs. Gerber and those that worked to put that day together. That was Monday. We're kind of in a good place because so many schools with SDRS moving it down to 32 years. There's so many districts that hire a lot of staff. And this is, in my time in Norwalk, this is probably the least we've had new teacher hires. So when you're saying how many stipends do we have there, we had 3 new teachers. We had 3 new teachers. That is it. So, and you got them all because all 3 were in front of you at board meetings. So those are the 3. So I'm looking at other districts when they're at 15, 18, 20, and I'm looking like, how many does Sandusky have? Like 40? Yeah. So I think I will take that as a positive as to, people that had the opportunity that could have said, no, I want to continue teaching in the district. So 3 for us in that category. 5.12 LPDC, this is locally professional development committee, basically verifying those that do the work and additional continuing education courses they do. Teachers, so those listed there, they timesheet that work. Administrators do not get paid for that additional time, with the administrators are listed in that group. 5.13, we have extended time. So all of those individuals are under a teacher contract. And those are recognition of the additional time that's needed. So when you look at who that is, that first one listed, you have a Sean Collins and our psychologist. And then going down the list, you have speech language individuals. You have our middle school athletic director. You have our lead for pre-kindergarten and Rosalie Smith. And then you have high school counseling, middle school counseling, and our essential our social worker role. So those are recognition of the additional work that goes beyond the school time window. 5.14, stipend for Beth Shine to cover the cost of her gifted education coursework. And we do have funding for that, where that would be pulled from. 5.15, employment of Amy Battles. That year is actually correct. That's not a typo. That was for the 24-25 and member rate for the purpose of home instruction tied to an individual student. 5.16, employment of substitute EPAC team members. So you have Robin Rogers that leads that, and these are the other individuals when necessary. So it's not just a matter of opening the doors and turning lights on. These are people when tech things are needed in the Performing Arts Center. Those are the individuals. So if you look at who they are, they're very much tied to, because of their background, either in drama, music, and they have a lot of experience. So they can add to that mix, and those are the individuals that will cover all things that happen, both internally and or externally when that space is rented. So that is all I have for personnel.
Mr. Cooley, is there a motion to approve items 5.1 through 5.16 versus personnel? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just a question, do we have to have a rate listed for a stipend, like on the agenda, or are we okay? I just noticed that some of
Which
them.
ones? So like extended days are paid at whatever their daily rate is. If it's member rate, this year member rate's $27.94. It's all in the negotiated agreement. The stipend is also in there, the new negotiated agreement, it's $100 a day. Unless something is different and then it gets listed,
Like the
Okay.
stipend, 150 each for the teacher.
Yeah, because I just noticed that some will list the amount, some didn't, so I just wanted to make sure we were.
Right,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it depends on whether it's a stipend or sometimes it'll say member rate. So
Okay.
member rate is an hourly rate. If they're doing different things like Saturday school, which I think that was on Friday, but, that's also in the negotiated agreement what the dollar amount is. So, but if it's not, or if it's different, that's when you have to approve something different. So like the Brian Stick one, that was just something, because he's an orchestra, like the other band teachers are paid with their supplemental, but he was just there helping out, and he has to pay him, it has to go through the school district to be legal, and the board has to approve it. So that's why there's a dollar.
And all extended time is per diem, so that list of therapists, SLPs, that's based on their per diem. So
Whatever they
those are
do.
different rates for what they make daily.
Okay, I just don't know why I just noticed some had it and some didn't, so then maybe it was.
Yeah,
part of
and
it.
everything is different, you know, the different, what they do is like different rates, so. Like LPDC, in the contract, there's a dollar amount for LPDC, so that's why it doesn't show here, and it's only for teachers, not administrators.
Okay, perfect. All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Rosenthal?
Yes.
Superintendent's reports.
We have preschool handbook that is an attachment from Mrs. Smith. 6.2, we have an MOU with Huron County Sheriff for continuation with Mike County as our SRO. So I think that is something that we're all excited for in our district to maintain that relationship. And things are going very well with him and our connection with the sheriff. 6.3, we have the ability to declare transportation practical and offer payment in lieu. In this case, we have a student that will be attending, as noted here, the Huron Sports Academy. So based on that mileage, based on that drive time, we're responsible for that student. And we're saying that basically we will offer money in exchange of actually using our transportation to have that student get to that location. 6.4, Norwalk Catholic 2025-26 school year. We run this through annually, the state auxiliary funding and federal funding, and the two attachments are there as well. 6.5, approval of bus routes for the upcoming school year. 6.6, this is something, again, Mr. Kenya, Mr. Ballman had worked on, basically clarifying what the driver's education instructor job description is, and that attachment is there. Because we have a lot of people, you heard that tonight, we have someone that says, like, I'd like to do that. We need to be able to show what does it take? What's qualifications? Is it anybody who's an adult, has a driver's license? So that's clarified in that description, so you know who essentially is going to be entitled and ability to interview for those positions. 6.7, this was something that was missed, if you know, last year, and this is clarifying how we are going to handle calamity days. So every school in the state of Ohio has to say, what is your method that instruction will occur when kids are out of school for X period of time? So that has been clarified. Mr. Ballman worked on that. Anything to clarify on that part?
No, other than, I mean, it does spell out, we don't necessarily have to use it, but we have to have a plan. So once you hit beyond 5 days, which fortunately or unfortunately for some, we've not reached that point in the last several years, but.
That was Mr. Cooley calling.
Yeah.
Blame them. This guy.
But in the event that we would go over those 5 days, this lays out what the plan is for that, an online format, so.
And that is all I have.
Is there a motion to approve item 6.1 through 6.7 under superintendent reports? Second?
Second.
Discussion?
I do have a question. Huron Sports Academy? Can you elaborate on that?
As to what it is,
I know what Spire Academy is, but I've never
So
heard of
this-
Huron Sports.
this started several years ago, so it's elementary focus that goes, started 2 years ago. So kids have the opportunity to go there. There is a focus, having emphasis on the athletic side of things. So you can think, most people think more of the high school level,
Right.
because you think like the larger, like Spire, you think of the Florida, Bradenton, Florida-based, like IMG Academy, where people go there for specific, like sport-based, and there's education involved. So this is kind of flipping the script a little bit, and that the focus is with our youngest, is with the elementary age. So essentially, anyone can decide, I want to go there. a kid who resides in our district says, yeah, our trip time to get there is under the 30-minute window, so we're responsible for that student. So it's an individual choice, it's a parent choice, and I'm not gonna do a sales line for,
I've just
are
never
they,
heard that.
are they effective or not, but, yeah, they can do that for themselves, but, yeah, they have a mission, and, that's.
I remember seeing some advertising a couple years ago, I think they bought the whole Shawnee school building that they accepted.
So feel free, Joyce, if there's something to expound on what I spoke on that you can of what they do, but.
Other than, no, I don't know anything about school, it's just we are required to transport any of our resident students, if it's within 30 minutes of the school district that they're assigned to, we are responsible for providing transportation. In this case, it's one student, it'd be very expensive for us to send a bus over there for one student. We offer the parent or the guardian payment, and they send her a letter and offered it to her. We have not heard back if they accept it. Now, if they don't accept it, then we're gonna be required to provide transportation until it goes to a hearing with OD or ODU. And they would decide if this is valid or not, so we're still kind of on hold.
Okay.
But hopefully they accept and then we pay them. There's a dollar amount based on what our average cost of transportation is that we would pay. No, this is just part of the more money we spend on private schools.
But it's unique because most that focus on the athletic, the sports side of things, it's generally like you're getting those kids at 13, 14,
Right.
and then as they matriculate through high school, 18, like that's the focus, and they're trying to do the other end of that. So.
Because I do think it's only what, K-5?
Grade 6.
It's an Excel school for competitive
So
academics and athletics.
do we have to wait for a response, or how does that work? Do we wait for a response if they accept this instead of us taking them, and then after that it would go, because we're not.
Well, hopefully we'll hear before school starts. I think they would have to reject it for us to have to, they would have to tell us that it's been rejected. There is language, because it's all in revised code, when they have to notify us, when the private school has to give us a schedule, when we notify them. Which is why Brad, actually, we had to send it in Brad's name because he was on vacation that week, but the superintendent had a short window, and they told us the very day that they wanted transportation, and that was the day that the superintendent had to offer them payment in lieu prior to a board meeting, because the board meetings aren't scheduled, so we had to send them a certified letter from Brad saying, we're offering you payment in lieu, because it was the very day, so.
You let us know, maybe
Yes,
via email,
I
so
will.
that we hear. Okay, that's great. I also have a question. The approval of the bus routes, is that what they were waiting for, to let parents know right now what the times are in the bus schedule? Is there, and I don't want to wait so anybody, but is there a way that we could do this sooner than where we are right now? Or does this have to wait for a board meeting? Is that what we're waiting for? I just saw a lot of parents trying to get things together right now and not knowing the bus schedules, and that was, feel like there's a lot of, nervousness and not knowing and trying to plan things out for the school year and knowing the bus routes. Yeah, and I understand that, but I guess, is there anything we could do for the bus routes? Okay,
Yes.
but is it just because it had to be at a board meeting approved first before we could release?
They've been working on pushing that out. I don't know, if that was all done all at once, or if they're pushing it out by the routes. I'm not sure of that.
I just want to give you that feedback, if
Yeah.
there's anything we can do, and I know that sometimes we get late signups and things like that, so it might change things, but anything we can do to maybe get that information out a little sooner, I think would probably be appreciated by some parents, but.
And as far as the homeroom list and the teachers,
that usually is very important.
NOACA, they have to go through the integration, where they integrate that with the progress book. So it shouldn't go online today, so parents will be able to see it.
I
And it'll be
personally saw
released
both of
on
those.
Dan,
Friday.
the integration doesn't happen until tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning, okay.
So Friday AM is when we, for classroom list,
Yes.
talk with our media and let them know as well, so expected Friday AM, and that's when that'll be covered from their side as well.
Now, are we publishing classroom lists in the meeting?
So yes, that's when it's released. So that's been a critical for our Norwalk Mountain News and the Norwalk Reflector, because several years ago, that was the first opportunity for you to see,
Right.
you know, where your child's gonna be. And now it's like you have multiple, you have the newspapers doing it, the online, the hard copy, and then you have us doing it on the website as well. But generally, there's more access to that than there used to be in the past. But it's like, where can I see that? Because that, like busing, that's all very critical things that you want to know. And earlier is always the best and right answer. But I know with the transportation side, yeah, there is a lot of work that goes into that.
Right, that's why I didn't even know, I just wanted to say, is there a way, but I cannot even imagine setting up bus routes, I would not ever want to do that. I didn't know if, I know school lists, there's a lot of things that we put it towards, you know, closer to when we start, and there's a lot of good reasons why we do that, but I didn't know if there was anything we could do with bus routes, and then with the app, I wasn't sure if there was anything we could do with getting information too about the app and the ability to see it through that app and things like that, if we could maybe advertise that a little bit. Any other discussion? Great, roll call please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenthaler?
Yes.
Board discussion and comments. Anything?
I will report on the good news we have. So Boys and Girls Club, that has been mentioned in the spring, that we were not going to be able to fund it. We didn't have the ability to do that after the summer program. And Joyce, Dan, and I met with Boys and Girls Club and their directors. And then magically, we have funding, and we are actually paying less than we had in the previous years when we funded a part of that. So Joyce can speak to that part, but we publicized that. Boys and Girls Club did that. They sent letters to all those that were in the program that had been the full year and or the summer program. So those families got a direct letter, and of course, we're trying to hit through the media and other sources, so people are aware of that. Kind of a max number we're looking at is 50. So we've had anywhere between 35, 40 on the high end. So we have a few more kids that we're definitely trying to get in the program, because that's the number, because they do very much on a teacher to kid ratio. So that's what it's based on. If you had more than 50, then you'd have to have additional staffing. So you look at two programs in Huron County that will be able to continue now, is New London and Norwalk. So very excited, and that commitment again is through the entire 25-26 school year. We will have to address that again, whether summer and whether we can flow more, but right now that's a program, because we were talking about ending it. And the fact that we can say a full academic year is being funded, that is unbelievable to say. So I'll do the handoff and Joyce can finish it.
So we used to use our student wellness and success funding, but that is no longer. Last year we spent the remaining amount and it was gone. So this year we didn't have any money, and we don't have any extra money to spend, but they got what was called TANF money, temporary assistance to needy families money, in the budget that they weren't really expecting. Of course, that happened late in the year, so that's where the money came from, and they're able to use it for, so, yeah, so that was really good.
It's great. Yeah, that was a surprise.
We talk about all the great programs that we have in our district, and a lot of those programs require teachers and advisors to go out and recruit, get people involved. If there is such a thing as a good problem, at Lead Street this year, for the sixth graders, the band, choir, and orchestra, a good problem is that we had to struggle to find places to house them, because there is a very small percentage of that entire class that is not in one of those three music programs. It's space. Obviously, when you have 70, 80 kids in band and 40 some, choirs at sixth grade is 56. So that program is growing by leaps and bounds. And with Mr. Kish and Mrs. Davis, Mrs. Alaman, Mr. Stidak, they're out there, talking to the kids, their general music classes, they're getting those kids excited. So, Mrs. Loomis and I spent a good portion of, yesterday morning trying to figure out where we're going to put it. So, but we made it work. So they were very happy, and, hopefully, when we're in a new building, we have ample space for that
I
program.
was just saying, note to self, very large music wing.
Yeah.
Musical.
So kind of a shout out to them, for the work that they've done to, recruit. And
That's great.
build this program.
With our construction manager at-risk interviews, those are gonna be on August 27th. So we are set, Mr. Ritzenthaler,
We'll be there.
Mrs. Crawford.
Be there.
Okay.
So as you know, we've selected, so 6 wanted the job, and we shortlisted down to 3. So we've got the field to have. We have Shook, we have Mosier, and we have CT Taylor. So those are the ones we're gonna interview, and then with that selection, kind of the formula of getting the number 1, that'll be determined post-Labor Day. So unlike the architect, we knew that day when we left, we all separated from OFCC and Gartner, our team, we knew who the architect was going to be. That might not be the case on August 27th, because as mentioned before, the school has 2 votes. OFCC gets 2 votes. And then unlike the architect, they're gonna look at the closed bid that comes in. So there's a financial package that will be looked at. So it might be a week after that day before we know, because we might all have one particular company number 1, but if they're the highest, it potentially could go to that second one, and you're not able to change it and say, well, can we readjust and change, because those numbers play, and that matters, so that's different. So that's why this is a bit different. Last time, Ralph and myself were the 2 Norwalk votes, and then OFCC had their 2 votes. So that process is similar. It's just this formula based on what they submit. So from pre-interview time to the time we interview them on August 27th, that's what they're preparing. And they're preparing this for a 26-month build cycle, and they've been roughly given the site and how this should be. So you're trying to, their designs have to show apples to apples, because money is time. So that's why they need to know how quickly can this get done. We're not changing off the fact that we are planning, just like we have communicated to the community, we're looking at 1 full year of planning and 3 years of the build project. So while we could have things button up in the wintertime, spring, we are not going to be moving kids. We still intend to be the summer, ready for the summer of 29 to be moving in and have that building ready to go. So with no hiccups along the way, that is our plan. I think will make a lot of sense. So, and have talked to a lot of face to face. I've had people of our local contractors that have come in and talked to me. One the other day, one today, and I have several scheduled next week, because they're trying to position themselves, because they understand this is a significant project, and we've emphasized to all 3 of these ones that may be our future CMRs, is that we recognize, like Norwalk is known as the contract. We have contractors, the cradle of contractors, I think, is used in the line for the city of Norwalk. So where it works, we want to maximize our local force for sure. So yeah, definitely excitement, and we definitely see the light there, and we're shooting at it every day and working hard to get to that end that hopefully our community will be proud of 4 years from now.
Very exciting. Any other discussion? Comments? Great. I need a motion, please, to move into executive session for the following purposes: to consider the purchase of property for public purposes, the sale of property at competitive bidding, or the sale of other disposition of unneeded, obsolete, or unfit for use property, and also to consider the employment or compensation of a public employee. Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Norris?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mrs. Burkett? Yes. Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Ritzenthaler?
Yes.
No action is expected. Thank you.